If I were to be raw, down to my bare bones, and if you were to ask me, who are you? At your core, who are you? Past the physical, past the emotional, and into your soul, who are you? You know what my answer would be, unfortunately, right now? I don't know. See, I was lost for a really long time on a lot of levels. I was taken from me at birth by being abused. So that took me outside of myself. I wasn't provided an environment that was conducive to growth and the betterment of myself, much less my community. So I didn't have that. And I was an only child. I had no role models except criminals, witches, people in places that I'm not going to discuss. But who am I? Tell you who I'm not. I'm not my environment. I'm not my mother, and I'm not my father. See, you hear this all the time, people saying, honor your mother and your father. And I'm in agreement that it is important to the degree that they deserve. Now, I'm not judging because I'm not God. But I know that since my upbringing was not positive, and when Revelations comes back around, she's the one who will have to deal with the consequences of what she's done. As will I. See, the consequences of the ritual abuse that I went through is I got lost. I didn't know myself. I was taken from me and programmed. Not only programmed by my family, where things were beaten into me. If I said what to my mother, sometimes I would get punched in the nose. So bloody noses and fat lips, normal. But that was small. There'd be times I'd be locked in my room for weeks on end as a child. So I didn't really have a guide. I had myself. No brothers, no sisters. Programmed by my family and the people around me who were doing not good things. Programmed in a literal center to see certain things. See, because my grandfather was a man of influence, he was able to afford for me to get a little bit more of an elite treatment. So because I'm dyslexic and I have astigmatism and I have a high IQ, and I come from a royal line, and I'm a tiny bit slow, perfect candidate to be programmed. We won't go into the types of programs because I could break those down, but that's not the point of the video. I'm not a whistleblower. I'm not trying to get anyone in trouble. I'm simply trying to free myself from the mental bondage and chains that people think that they could place upon me. They cannot. They have no jurisdiction or domain over my body or my mental dome. I'm taking that back. I belong to me. I do not belong to the outside. And who dwells within me? The Holy Spirit. So, being someone who is groomed in literal training centers, I was trained to see a lot of things and how to operate in the ethers. I know how to project outside of myself years in advance and come back and give information if need be. Any of my family will verify I've always had the gift. Always. Unfortunately, a lot of people in my family growing up try to use me as an oracle. I'm not an oracle. I'm not here, a crystal ball, here to tell you the magic numbers. No, but as a prophet, I'll tell you that judgment's coming. You know, coincidental that I'm the moderator. Funny now, I like how there's new moderators that followed after me. That's cute. But of course, there's moderators all over. I'm not the only moderator in the world. But it's funny that I'm the moderator for Walter Reed, Killer Priest, Wu-Tang podcast, and he rides with the Horsemen in the Apocalypse. Horsemen in the Apocalypse, and who does he represent? Death. So, with that said, death is of false beliefs and ego. It's not a physical death. The second death isn't for us, you guys. It's a spiritual death of the false beliefs. See, me now coming into myself and finding me is a process. It's funny that when I was 40, I found out my name on my birth certificate was wrong. So at 40, when I got called out, how interesting. And then my last address was on Deserus, like the desert. Killer Priest and the podcast always talks about Egypt. I remember something in the Bible about let my people go in Egypt, Babylon, and people trying to buy their way into heaven or learn their way into heaven by gaining knowledge, hidden knowledge. See, I love KP for exposing what he does so that people could see it. That's wonderful. Unfortunately, it also is teaching you guys a lot of masonry. But what people choose to do with the knowledge is what's important. Your intent, your soul being. Who were you to begin with? When you came into this world, who were you? You're still there. You haven't changed. And you have purpose. You have meaning. There is still so much more that you can accomplish. If I have faith in you, that means I must have faith in me too, because as I've said in my other videos, I'm seeing a reflection out. I do not want to absorb the negative reflections, but I do want the positive ones. I'm trying to be the change. I'm trying to find my true inner self, knowledge of true self. I don't know whether to thank my grandfather or be pissed off, but with my training, I can certainly see a few additional things, which is another reason why I can... Well, that's off subject. Finding your inner being and being your core self. Take all your belief systems and, kind of look at them as a grain of salt. And then learn new things. Let new people talk to you. Learn new belief systems so that you are exposed to different stuff so that you can make an educated decision. Don't follow a religion or a cult because it's what you were brought up with. That's called conditioning. You have to get out there and explore and find out what you believe to be right in your soul house. You're the only one walking in your shoes. Even if you get confused like I do sometimes, like, who am I? I'll tell you what, I'm not giving up. I know I house the Holy Spirit. I know in the Bible, Job lost everything, but he didn't lose his faith in God. And it's the same here. See, I've given up everything and I've lost everything several times and I gained it back. So possessions are nothing. Things come and go. But let me tell you, once your soul house is gone, chances of getting that back are slim. That's why the path is narrow. And I am trying my hardest to do it right. We could do it. I have faith that with hard work, dedication, and being honest, even when it hurts, because sometimes you have to deal with yourself internally and you don't like what you see, it hurts. And that's okay. It's growth. It's a process. Be mad at yourself for a moment. Hold yourself accountable. And then remember you love yourself and you are wonderful.